Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining the HPE and Redington session. We have Sabir Tahir, our pre-sales consultant in Redington Value, who will be running throughout the session. We hope we will provide you all the information required, and you can go to the Q&A button on the left. At the end of the session, we will answer all your questions. Please note that at the end of the session also we will run a short quiz after answering all your questions. There will be 3 winners and they will get a gift voucher. Sabir, over to you. You can start.
Gentlemen, we have a session today for Simplivity VDI solution. So, as Rajitash mentioned that we have the quiz at the end of the session. So, please, I want you to keep focused to the each and every slides of the presentation, because the questions will be from the slide itself, and answer you can answer only if you will keep focused attending the sessions. Okay. Anyhow, let's going forward. This is our topics for today. That what is the business environment, and what are the value of the Simplivity end user computing, and because this is the session is for the VDI. So mainly we will be discussing the topic for the VMware Horizon end user computing value, along with the Citrix XenDesktop end user computing value, and Citrix Workspace Appliance end user values. So HPE SimpliVity deliver partner solution for end user computing that securely manage both physical and virtual infrastructure and provide instant access to apps and desktop from anywhere. Okay. So let's move forward. Okay. So what are the modern business wish list in these days? Okay. What the management they are looking for, what the business are looking for. Okay. It's they are looking for a simplified management and lower IT cost. They are looking for security and disaster recovery. They are looking for easy provisioning of resources and VM management, the scalable storage and compute and adaptability, stop hardware sprawl, and better mobility and management of VM and app performance. So this is what the business they are looking for, and what they are afraid of. They are afraid of for uncertain ROI, the deployment time, the time to value is too long, the lack of qualified IT personnel, poor performance, and graphics sports believe running a VDI environment is too complex and skill intensive. What are the common fear with the client virtualization deployment? The client virtualization deployment are often blocked by the following problem: the sluggish or unpredictable desktop performance, higher than expected capex cost, and compromise between competing needs for strong solution performance, resilience, cost reduction, and infrastructure management. What customer they are looking for, if you consider today this pandemic situation, that every user, everyone is running from the home. Okay, and they need to be have the system, the platform itself, where they can run all type of workload, and they can work from the home accessing that system. So, considering that one, that pandemic, and the hardware deployment, okay, the infrastructure, we consider that they are looking for a very simple solution, which can be a true hyperconverged infrastructure that eliminates the cost and complexity of running the virtualized workload. A compact solution that delivers the agility and economics of the cloud with on-prem security and IT governance, a solution that can start small and then scale predictably, great desktop density and support for the GPU, a policy-based VM-centric management that reduce the demands on IT staff, outstanding performance, built-in optimization and efficiency that realize immediate capex and opex saving, data protection with brief RPO and rapid RTO. As a bottom line, the solution is simple. the solution is HPE SimpliVity for this all this requirement. So what is the evolution of hyperconverged? Okay, so if we're going back 2009, that time it was the legacy stack when the VMware started. Okay, when the VMware started, so the virtualization start happened. So it is server and hypervisor, then storage switches, shared storage, backup and dedupe, WAN optimization, cloud gateway. This is all the legacy stack. Okay, then it's on-site build actually the system and deployment. Sometime the deployment of virtualization, VMware taking very longer time to overcome that problem. Then the vendor they came up with the integrated system. So integrated system means it's pre-integrated storage and servers. Okay, pre-integrated storage and servers where VMware is installed and it's as per the customer require. So even though after that it's considered also no, there should be something else, and that something else is it came up with a hyperconverged solution like Nutanix and some other vendors also. They came up with the bundling this compute, storage, and VMware together from the factory and shipping it on site and to the customer, and say it's plug and play. But still, they did not cover the stack for WAN optimization, the cloud gateway, the SSD array, and storage caching. Okay, where HP SimpliVity came up with the complete stack. Okay, where it's compute, storage, virtualization, WAN optimization, cloud gateway, backup, and dupe. It's all together in one box. That's why it's HP SimpliVity is complete a, a true hyperconverged solution. Okay. So what is SimpliVity data virtualization platform? It's global VM centric management and mobility, and built in resilient resilience, backup, and disaster recovery, guaranteed data efficiency. Okay, so if you go to the VM centric management and mobility, so it's policy based VM centric management. It's no LANs, shares, or volume. It's right click operation and native tool integration, single view of all and data center and robots. So the full logical backup and near zero overhead, guaranteed 60-second restore of 1 terabyte virtual machine. It's a granularity RTO and RPO from hours to seconds, simple, affordable, offsite DR, rain plus rain protection of data, and guaranteed data efficiency where it is saving almost 90% storage capacity across primary and backup storage with improved performance. The reason it's always on compression, we say this is inline compression and deduplication, which enable SimpliVity platform to save up to 90% capacity for the customer. So just assume that if a customer he is looking for the 90 terabyte storage capacity, 100 terabyte storage capacity. So instead of 100 terabyte storage capacity, he can achieve his objective using a 10 terabyte physical storage capacity. So this is how it's big value for HP SimpliVity. A platform offering. So there's different type of platform. We have the SimpliVity hardware. So let's discuss first. This is SimpliVity 380. SimpliVity 380 is an all-flash software defined hyperconverged infrastructure solution built on HP ProLiant DL380 servers. So it's not only DL380, there's DL385 also based on the AMD processor. But we're discussing here this 380 today. HP SimpliVity combines IT infrastructure and advanced data services via HP SimpliVity data virtualization platform, which include OmniStock virtual controller. This is the virtual machine which is responsible for built-in resilience, backup, and disaster recovery. Enables a single shared resource pool across multiple sites, global VM-centric management and mobility, and then OmniStock accelerated card, which is always on the fly inline compression and deduplication with no performance loss. So it's not performance loss. In fact, it increased the performance because it's decreased the latency from the storage side. So whenever the latency will be decreased, the performance will be increased. So increase performance and efficiency by eliminating extraneous I/O activity. So 90% capacity saving across primary storage and backup, ideal to create an on-prem or hybrid cloud solution. So saving in end-to-end network configuration and troubleshooting, it's 50% saving and 90% saving in storage and 91% time free to focus on apps. Okay, enable multi-cloud via multiple hypervisor support. Key business outcome include achieve faster time to market and response times, simplify procurement and support of IT resources, redirect dedicated FT to other initiative, and the hypervisor it's VMware as well as Microsoft Hyper-V. It's both hypervisor are supported. So HP SimpliVity, this another platform. It's 2600. This is mostly we'll be discussing today for our VDI solutions. The new HP SimpliVity hardware platform plus software optimization solution. The SimpliVity 2600 based on the Apollo 2600 JC provide a different HP SimpliVity platform choice, provide dense solution for compute-centric workload. 100% software optimized. If you go back at the previous screen, we mentioned it's hardware accelerated card, OmniStock accelerated card, which is always on the fly, inline compression and deduplication. So this is with the DL380 Gen 10, but when we come to the 2600 series, that is software optimized, 100% software optimized. First vendor to deliver consistent performance with always on dedupe and compression enabled by software. It's tested by HPE Lab and Login VSI. So VDI use cases are this architected and optimized for best VDI configuration performance. It's HPE SimpliVity makes VDI simple to implement and manage VMware offerings. So just please consider that when we say the 90% capacity saving, we will discuss about the VDI, the persistent desktop. This is all about consuming the storage capacity. Okay, so if you have 100 desktop, 1000 desktop, 2000 desktops, all require the storage capacity. But if you are saving 90% capacity, so it's mean you are saving a lot in terms of storage for the VDI solution. If using the SimpliVity. And it's anyway it's 10 time reduction in data center devices when deploying the solution on HP SimpliVity. So GPU option, mostly whenever you are going for VDI, so the big challenge it's the GPU. Okay, the performance of GPU, the capacity, the number of users, the density. Okay. So anyway, we support here the different GPU. The use cases it's Tesla P40, Tesla M10, and T4s. There's more GPUs. Okay. So Tesla P40, its use cases is Quadro DWS made to high, M10 user density optimized. The number of GPU for P10 it's 4, and for P40 it's 1. Total NVIDIA cores. So these are cores 3840 for Tesla. Sorry, 3840, and then 2 for M10 it's 2560. So it's 640 per GPU. This is actually optimized for the user density, this M10. And so you can see here the total memory for M10 is 32 GB, GDDR5, 8 GB GPU, the maximum power 225 watts. So form factor is PCI 3.0 dual slot, and cooling solution is passive. Okay, so mainly this Tesla M10 will be used, or the rest Sometimes it will be used as Tesla P40. So this is the architecture for the GPU options. This is very important slide here, okay, which I want to explain. See, this is the left side. This is a SimpliVity solution with a data store, because the data virtualization platform for the SimpliVity, it's adding a lot of values for the customer, because it will save lot of capacity. It will increase the performance. Okay, plus uh, it can reduce the data center footprint as well. Okay, but it's mean then when it's reducing the data center footprint, okay, and the solution is for the VDI, and sometime it's mean you need sometime more the GPU to support your VDI environment, okay, or sometime you need also the compute power. So what you can do with SimpliVity, okay, that still you can use some external server like rack mounted server, where you can have the GPU card, you can have the Apollo servers, you can have the GPU card, the Edgeline server, the HP Synergy, all will support the GPU card and all will support the compute. But when it will come to the underlying storage, they will go back to SimpliVity data store to access the storage from there. So it's mean that this is the only hypervisor. This is only the hyperconverged solution which support compute from outside from the stack itself. Okay, so it will add lot of values for the customers. It will save a lot of money for the customer, even though they can use their existing servers. Okay, while they take the value of the SimpliVity solutions. So SimpliVity end user computing value. Okay, so this is it's start with the two nodes as a pilot project, and then just fast deployment. You can move out to the production, adding more nodes, and then expand and roll out. Okay, linear scale to match the demand. So it's independently scale compute and memory. Okay, so you can say additional compute power when needed. It's using the external compute node, support GPU for the graphic user, and leverage new or existing hardware. So built-in data protection for the persistent desktop. It's full clone persistent desktop or virtual sessions where each desktop runs from a separate disk image, pro- providing each user with a customizable desktop and a place to save files and make configuration settings. The desktop, the desktop environment is isolated in a self-contained package including OS profile, application, user data, and customization. This requires secure and accessible storage. So there's no dependency with the master image. HP SimpliVity deliver built-in backup and data protection that can be used to protect the full clone. Backup are free with no performance impact to the underlying HP SimpliVity system. So if you are going to take the backup on HP SimpliVity, so it as we mentioned before, in less than 1 minute, it's guaranteed 1 terabyte backup and restore. So when you have the persistent desktop and you want to take the full clone or the backup of this one, even the user will not notice, and the backup will be created in the backend, and it will not take the the storage space as well, because it's just as a pointer link. Okay, it's just create a pointer and make it fully uh, independent the backup itself. So from that backup, you can restore to any environment without going back to the base image. So this is how it is the beauty of the HP SimpliVity solution. So optimal data coverage strategy for all EU offering on HP SimpliVity. It's built-in data protection with the simple automated recovery process to ensure success. HP SimpliVity Rapid DR and optional software tool orchestrated DR planning and reliable IT recovery, including one-click failover or failback. So actually, this rapid DR is very much cost-effective when you compare with SRM, the VMware Site Recovery Manager. Okay, it's very much less in cost. It's bi-direction solution. It's very easy to configure and test. So whether running full clone or link clone, data recovery is supported. The leverage HP SimpliVity backup capabilities to protect full clone at the remote DR site, protect master image at the remote DR site, protect infrastructure component at remote DR site, recover VM from local backup in seconds, deduplication allow data to backup faster and more frequent on more VMs. Okay, deduplicate common user data and file on your file shares. The HP SimpliVity combines high performance hardware with advanced data services. This improves the application performance by reducing latency and freeing up resources. So all-flash storage delivered twice the performance of hybrid solution with half the latency. IT infrastructure and advanced data services are optimized for a virtualized workload. Always on dedupe and compression save 90% storage capacity. See, the big challenge in the VDI is the storage. But in SimpliVity, it will save a lot of storage. When you save the storage, you will reduce the data center footprint. You will increase the performance. Okay. This is how it's adding value to the VDI solution, and VDI is need for everyone today. This pandemic, the industry is moving, it's transforming. Okay, so from last 2 3 months, we are all working from home or from home offices. So many user with the end users still they are suffering that they want to access their desktop. Okay, because uh, and they didn't provide laptop to everyone in their organization. Most of the people in the organization they were having desktop. Okay, so desktop they are not moving to the host. Okay, if laptop with application it's okay, but for end users sometimes the application the people they are strict that it should be from the office. So from office it means that the customer they can have VDI solution with the application virtualization to access it remotely and securely and to feel like the experience of the office. So I think this is the market we need to be focused over there. And here hosting the file share for user data and file provides great benefits on HP SimpliVity because of deduplication. Inline deduplication eliminates unnecessary data writes. Okay, so this is validated by Login VSI. Login VSI is the industry standard for client virtualization performance testing. The validation involves in-depth auditing of performance results, and HP SimpliVity solution have completed validation more than any other vendors. Okay, so it's for the Citrix and VMware. Why HP SimpliVity? HCI is one of the fastest growing segment in the IT market. HCI combines simplified IT with performance to run virtual apps or desktop on-prem. Deliver the performance, protection, privacy, and control and needed for business critical workload, unlike inefficient point products and solid IT architecture. Feature a scale-out architecture that minimize upfront investment and provide a high degree of flexibility and extensibility. Built-in data protection further improve the TCO. All offerings are validated by the Login VSI, best-in-class desktop density, high-end graphic virtualization is supported by NVIDIA GPU. So save space by deduplication of user data and deploy full clone with the same efficiency as linked clone. Uh, Built on the world best-selling server platform HPE ProLiant DL380. So this is the reason why SimpliVity. So AUC offering on HPE SimpliVity. Okay, so VMware Horizon on HPE SimpliVity features. So So VMware vSphere and VMware Horizon and simply provide a high-performance client virtualization environment that is highly available and highly scalable, including a superior user experience through unmatched client virtualization performance, linear scalability from pilot to production with cost-effective client virtualization deployment, enterprise-grade data protection, and resilience for client virtualization workload. So why VMware Horizon and HPE SimpliVity? The HPE SimpliVity 380 platform is ideal suited for addressing the challenges of client virtualization. It provides simplified deployment with hyperconverged building blocks, a best-in-class user density, 1,500 knowledge workers user hosted on only 8 HP SimpliVity 380 Gen 10 nodes. So include the resilient N+1 design. So this is the big numbers, and you can see only it's on 8 node. 8 node means it's 16 rack space. Okay, this is Gen 10. Gen 10, each one will take 2 nodes. So it means there's no any other space required for the storage, not space required for the more servers. So it means you have the less the footprint, less the power and cooling, less the operational cost. So this is how it's the value add. The ability to start small and scale out in affordable incremental from pilot to production, and support up to 4,000 office worker desktop in a single building block. VMware Horizon reference architecture. Architecture will have the link I will share. And independently validated unmatched client visualization performance for an excellent end user experience. Deployment of full clone desktop with the same data efficiency as linked clone. So see, this is the big difference here. That so full clone, the deployment efficiency is same as the link clone, because link clone actually it's linked only. It's not created the full desktop. It's just linking to the master image, the golden image. But full desktop, it's complete desktop. It's separate. Enterprise class data protection and resiliency to protect full clone master image, user data, etc. So you can say the overall HPE SimpliVity fulfills the primary requirement of many organizations, namely performance without sacrificing economics or resiliency. So going forward, the HPE and Citrix XenDesktop EUC goals and objective. This provide instant secure access to app and desktop anywhere mobility, deliver all type of application, provide an exceptional end user experience, support a wide range of end user devices, meet security compliance and regulatory guidelines. Okay, so our solution is with Citrix XenDesktop is simple, fast, and secure way to deploy and scale apps and desktop using virtual workspace, appliance, and Citrix Cloud. Create complete environment. IT generalist on your existing staff can create complete virtualized desktop environment from power on to desktop deployment in 2 hours or less. So, which is again, it's very much value added because it's not requires a lot of time to uh, to to build the infrastructure, and then they not required very experienced staff to provision the. Okay, so it's easy. It's any IT generalist can do this one. Citrix XenApp and XenDesktop provide control and access of data, so it is no longer scattered around the world on unprotected devices with traveling, remote and branch office employees. And in Citrix, in a non-Citrix cloud environment, Citrix components are on-prem along with app and data. IT admin control the security of the UC landscape and have the necessary skills needed to operate and maintain the environment. So deploy and provision a workstation and VM quickly and confidently for XenDesktop. So easier is faster. So Citrix XenDesktop or HP SimpliVity 380 provide a common unified console to manage both physical and virtual infrastructure. Increase security with virtualized apps and desktop apps and data are streamlined on the appliance behind your security layers. Compliance user interact with app and data through an encrypted connection to secure sensitive data, and responsive automated centralized control of desktop and that respond quickly to user demand, provide faster provisioning to meet the need of changing workload on your timetable, scale as you grow, flexible, scale up or down in an easy to manage, jointly built environment designed to support your workforce, includes support for NVIDIA Tesla 10 a GPU card for demanding graphics application. So CAD and CAM. A better mobility means better productivity. Have secure access to apps and data whenever you and on whatever devices. So low TCO scale out architecture lets you add only the amount of server, storage and networking sources you need in manageable cost incremental. So because this is the scale out, this is the scale out approach. Whenever more sources required, it means bringing more node of HP SimpliVity just to add to the existing cluster. So this is how it is. The scale out approach will happen. So initially they can start with the 2 nodes, 4 nodes, and then expanding. Okay, based on the need. Need the cloud, HP SimpliVity 380 Citrix Ready Workspace Appliance. The Citrix Ready Workspace Appliance brings automation to HP SimpliVity and Citrix Cloud and is integrated, tested, fully validated, and supported by Citrix and HPE. What it does, simplifies your entire infrastructure with a turnkey solution that deploy in hours, not a days, automates management of Citrix workspace environment, provide an interface to Citrix Cloud to deploy and manage virtualized desktop with a few mouse clicks without need for ITS. Simplifies connection to the Citrix Cloud and establish HP SimpliVity as a resource location for application and data. Deploy Citrix Cloud containers. Make your data accessible anywhere through optimal security policies. So as a bottom lines, you can see that the SimpliVity 380 Citrix Ready Workspace Appliance is a simple, fast, and secure way for mid-market companies to deploy and scale their apps and desktop using HCI, Appliance, and Citrix Cloud. Okay, so SimpliVity actually there's no separate interface to manage the SimpliVity hardware. Actually, it is just a plugin. Either it's a SimpliVity virtualization or it's a Citrix cloud, or all it will be integrated with the vCenter. Okay, so as a plugin. So you can see here SimpliVity Hyper-V integrations. You can see here the plugin for HPE SimpliVity, the plugin for Citrix connector. So once you click on this one, so you will get interface of SimpliVity to manage the SimpliVity hardware and the software, the platform itself. So CWA-Solution value, addition value on top of existing HPE SimpliVity client virtualization value. It is simplified deployment and management, turnkey solution that lets you deploy and start consuming XenDesktop and XenApp as software as a service within minutes across multiple HP SimpliVity cluster. This is the hypervisor agnostic plugin available for Microsoft SCVMM and VMware vCenter to provide similar user experience regardless of underlying hypervisor use. So as we have seen in the previous screen that the plugin will be shown into the either VMware vCenter server or with the Microsoft SCVMM uh, to interact with the SimpliVity platform itself. So plugin are hosted within vCenter or SCVN provided for free. So this free of cost is no additional charges. Either it's Windows based or Linux based or it's appliance. Okay, it's free. The security it's built on the most secure HP server, so you can keep important apps and data on premises using security best practice managed by Citrix Cloud. So as the security wise, HP DL380 it's very much secure because of the silicon root of trust. Okay, the secured firmware approach for the HP and its market leader. So security. So you can consider deploying on-prem actually. So number 4, validated under Citrix Ready program. Solution validated and supported under Citrix Ready program. Citrix Cloud connector plugin provided by HP to connect HP SimpliVity cluster to Citrix Cloud. So you can see this one, the SimpliVity, this Citrix gateway, this Active Directory, this desktop VDI, the server VDA. It's with the cloud connector, which connected with the delivery controller. Okay, and managed by Citrix in cloud. Okay, so this is customer partner manage, and this is the Citrix manage in the cloud. So this is simplified lifecycle management. SimpliVity upgrade manager provide new functionality to independently upgrade components. Citrix management infrastructure maintain, upgrade, patch by Citrix Cloud, scalable, and backups and disaster recovery. A scale environment linearly with the building block approach with HP SimpliVity HCI, expandable in one node increments. HA of Citrix component managed by Citrix simply point to another HP SimpliVity cluster in the federation. So this is backup disaster recovery. Okay, so as we mentioned before, with the simplicity that there's built-in backup and disaster recovery for the simplicity, while using integrated system and the LexiStack or other hyperconverged solution, they need to have the WAN optimization, the SSD caching, the backup and backup apps, where most likely they are using the Veeam for the virtualization environment. Okay, so here we say that with simplicity, sometime you don't need to have the backup application, and much more when why we say that you don't need even the WAN optimization. Okay, let me explain you that. Let's assume that you have 3 or 4 sites. You have one main data center site, main site, and 3 remote site, and it's a VDI deployment for each of the sites. So for the main as well as for the 3 remote sites. Okay. So for that, uh, first of all, whenever the customer he need to have the backup without using any third party application, they can have file level backup and restore. Okay, so you can see this one, it's at the left side, it's file level. You can see the folder, you can pick any of the file and which can be restored. Okay, so restore to any virtual machine and multiple point in times. Okay, so it's mean that the backup will be created within a local cluster. But assume that the customer might be it's worried that they don't want to keep the backup in the local cluster. So they can keep the backup in the remote cluster. They might keep it in the head office. When it's come to the data transfer, we mentioned before it's 90% data saving, capacity saving for the storage side. Okay, so it's because of its very strong inline compression and deduplication, which in with inline compression and deduplication, it compress the data. Okay, it's dedupe. So we can say it will save the data 10 times it will reduce. So let's assume that its actual data it's 10 terabyte, but after compression and deduplication, it will just remain only 1 tera. This 1 tera data, when it's need to transfer to the second site, okay, so it's need 10 times less bandwidth. Okay, so 10 times less bandwidth, it's big. This the financial saving for the customers. Okay, because the bandwidth is expensive. So this way, it's mean that the customer he can move the backup from one side to another side, and it will be protected also. Yes, if customer is looking for the compliance purpose to offsite the backup, yes, then it's need a tape library, or we need to have this the backup software also. Otherwise, not required. Much more, this is the latest software version of SimpliVity. We support also HP Store once, the backup integration. So it's mean from SimpliVity, instead of keeping the data backup copy locally, it can be moved to the store once. Okay, and from site to site, it can be replicated to the store once. So anyhow, this is then it's VM. It's new replacement VM, multiple point in time, fully independent. This is protection level. So file level, the VM level, the node level. The node level, it's hardware rates. We support hardware rates. It's mean the protection of floor of the local hard disk. Okay, up to 2, and some scenarios up to 3 also hardware. It depends on the node itself and the capacity. The component level redundancy and protection, integrated checks and bit detection, because this is the secure firmware, okay, to protect from the threats. So then it's cluster level. It's mean per VM RAIN, it's high availability, because one copy will be created across the nodes. Okay. So if one node get failed, so it's mean again still all the data will be available in the second node in the cluster. So it's protection level from there, and then it's from the federation. It's from the site to site. DR, remote backup and recovery, and unique block replication. See, with the UBR, it's again this is the important things that how it's saving the data. Let me provide you another example which might help you to imagine that how it will be very much value added for the VDI environment. Okay, just assume that two sites, the customer is using Windows on the site A with the different configuration for the IP addressing and the machine name, but still the operating system is same. When it's going to keep backup or replicate to the remote site, okay, the whole OS will not be replicated. Only the unique data. You can say that for the virtual machine name and sorry host name, and as well as the data, the unique block where IP addresses information is written, that will be sent to the second site. Okay, but operating system will not be sent. That operating system will be taken from the Windows machine which is available already on that site. Okay, so it's mean usually it's around this 100 GB of the operating system virtual machine, where might be it's only few KB, or you can say MB, the storage itself as a unique block which allocated to store the information for the IP addressing and the machine name. Okay, so it's mean only that 1 MB or KB will be transferred and full machine will be created there. So this is what how it is the powerful and what is the beauty of the simplicity. And when it's come to the VDI, so VDI, it's mean all its desktop. Okay, it's for the remote side. The people they need to have the backup of their desktop. It cannot be used the Veeam for all their backup for the desktop. So it's mean using SimpliVity, it can be created the backup of end user, and the with compression and deduplication, okay, it's only less data will be transferred, which again it will save the WAN bandwidth. Okay, and at the end the data will be protected on the main site. Anyhow, let's move forward. Okay, so disaster recovery for VDI non-persistent desktop. Okay, I think this is the screen is very much important. Might be there will be some questions from this screen. The full reporting of scenarios and design is available in HP reference architecture for VMware Horizon 7 on HP SimpliVity 380 Gen 10. So you can even Google this one and you'll get it. The state of individual desktop does not matter, so they are not failed over. Okay, you can see this one, site A and site B users. Okay, so this is the pool A, the management block pool A, and management block pool B. Okay. So state of individual desktop doesn't matter, so they are not failover in the non-persistent desktop VDI. File server or other profile user data store is failed over from one site to another. Stage desktop VM in site B are ready to accept connection from site A users. Okay, this site A user, this site B. Global site load balancer is strongly recommended to minimize RTO. That means that load balancer required. Okay, this is the load balancer. This is site A and site B user. Strong recommend to minimize the RTO. So disaster recovery for VDI persistent desktop. Okay, its full reporting of scenario and design is available in HP reference architecture. So state of individual desktop matters. So they are failover. Okay. All management workload must be failover to ensure desktop stay within same management domain for VMware Horizon, Citrix, XenDesktop, and vSphere. Each pod has opposite physical site failover desktop infrastructure versus management domain. So it's bi-directional actually. Site A to site B and site B to site A. Backup, restore to failover, look to rapid DR to lower RTO. So it's mean we can use the rapid DR from SimpliVity for disaster recovery. Okay. Uh, so that one it's came as a bundle of 25 or 100 and 100, but the price is very minimum. Okay, so it's very much lower than VMware SRM. So global site load balancers strongly recommended to minimize the RTO. So it's load balancer again it's required to minimize the RTO for disaster recovery for VDI persistent desktops. So HP SimpliVity 380 for Citrix cloud services. So this is for multiple site solutions. So SimpliVity plugin for Citrix cloud. So this is SimpliVity site A cloud container, site B, site 3, site 4. Okay, all with cloud container with Citrix cloud connected centrally. What the customer are saying about this SimpliVity solution for VDIs? Okay, you can say there's the case studies for Altrecht slashes TCO with the HP SimpliVity hyperconverged solution. So it's Altrecht is a leading Dutch mental health care provider that deployed 18 HP SimpliVity hyperconverged nodes in a new collocation facility including a Citrix XenApp end-user computing implementation supporting over 1,500 concurrent users. So what they have seen, why they choose HP SimpliVity solution, it's because of the superior performance and availability, okay, for their critical application, the elimination of equipment sprawl and operational complexity. 8 racks of Lexi system were replaced with just 2 racks of HP SimpliVity equipment. So it's mean the 75% the rack space saved. The VM-centric user interface allow IT generalists to clone, backup, move, and restore VM with just 2 or 3 mouse clicks using VMware vCenter. So whenever any backup or VMs need to move between the sites, it's very simple. It's just a single click. It's not required some complicated process. So VM are backup and recovered in minutes compared to our with the previous Commvault data protection solutions. So as we mentioned earlier that the SimpliVity is very powerful and have capability to backup or restore a 1 terabyte of a data in less than 1 minute, which means 1 terabyte. It's mean it's around 10 system, 10 servers. Okay, as an average, it's 100 GB. It's again each virtual machine and might be for the VDI might be desktop even it will be less than 100 GB. So let's assume this 100 GB for for the desktop also. Okay, assuming this one, it's 10 desktop or 10 server can be backed up and restored in less than 1 minute. This is the big number. It's no any competitor will achieve this number, and no one is achieving. And by the way, that we have already some reference in Saudi Arabia also for Simplivity. If some partner or customers, I mean, especially some customer, they want to have the review or we can take it over there and we can show them the live environment. So of course that's not for the VDI, but it's for the virtualization, and we have the rapid DR also, and the customer very much happy because it saved a lot of money in terms of bandwidth and in terms of storage. Okay, so all of these values actually. And in the Simplicity, until partner or customer will not understand the value of the Simplicity, he will not buy the Simplicity. Once he will understand the value of the Simplicity, he will not go to any other hyperconverged solutions. So this is very much important. Okay, so the Simplicity solution was significantly less expensive from a TCO perspective. Azure and Nutanix would have cost up to 38% or 69% higher respectively. Okay, this is the manager ICT is saying, okay, for Altrecht. Okay, so this is again what I will say, that what I mentioned in my last statement, that until the customer and the partner, they will not understand the value of the Simplicity, they will not go for this. But once they will understand the value and the architecture, they will not go with any other hyperconverged solution. Okay. So the Simplicity platform greatly reduced our IT footprint. That was extremely important since we were moving into co-facility, co-location facility, and paying for space and power. The HP Simplicity product is also incredible, easy to administer. Our IT teams spend less time managing infrastructure and more time supporting user and working on new business functionality. So there's another customer case study. Okay, so Eubelius turned to HP SimpliVity to scale VMware Horizon VDI deployment. Okay, so Eubelius is prominent independent law firm with offices in Brussels, Kortrijk, and Antwerp. Okay, so they install 4-node HP SimpliVity configuration, its primary data center, and another node in the Scandi location for disaster recovery. So the important things here, with SimpliVity, we can start with 2 nodes. Okay, while our competitor, them some they need minimum of 3 nodes. Okay, and for the more protection level, they need a minimum or 4 or 5 nodes. But with SimpliVity, we can start with 2 nodes. Okay, and we can start building on top of this one. So data center and another node in Scandi. Okay, location for disaster recovery. So what they achieve, why they choose the SimpliVity solutions, slashes backup and recovery time from hour to just seconds. Delivery breakthrough performance and data efficiency from real-time deduplication, compression, and optimization technologies. A dramatic reduction in storage consumption, allow efficient remote data protection over 40 Mbps WAN links. Okay, so see, this is remote data protection over 40 Mbps WAN links. So it's depends on the data, and I believe that if it's less data, so might be it can go with the 10 MB also, or less than 10 MB as well, because it will be 10 times less data which need to be replicated across site. And in some scenario, even though it will become might be 20 times less. Okay. So again, the bandwidth is big cost for organization, which they can save. Okay. Uh, that cost, and they can invest somewhere else to add value. Okay. So HP SimpliVity offer an all-in-one solution that is easy to deploy and administer the product, built-in data protection features, and rapid VM cloning and recovery capabilities were major selling point. After seeing HP SimpliVity, we did not even consider any of the traditional solution. So see this statement, this is what I mentioned before. Again, I will repeat it. If once the customer and partner, they will understand the value of the SimpliVity hyperconverged solution, they will not go to any other solution. They will go only and only with SimpliVity solution. When we had a problem with over 700 GB SQL server, we were able to fully recover it in just a couple of seconds. Great. With the old solution, it would have taken hours. So we can now automatically replicate data to our entrapped offices. This is from IT manager. Okay. So let's show you some more slides for the backup. So with performance, you can see that CPU and GPU performance. We have HP SimpliVity 2600 node models. So there's the the node itself. It's HP SimpliVity 170. This is the Polo DL server with a CPU configuration of 1 to 2 processor, Intel Xeon with 8 to 32 cores per socket. So it's mean whatever available the CPU today in the markets, okay, from Intel, all those CPUs are supported, okay, by SimpliVity 170 servers for the VDI, okay. So we have starting from 4110 from Xeon, uh, Intel Xeon Silver processor till this Platinum. All the CPUs are supported. Okay. So memory it can be a minimum 256 GB up to 768 GB per node. The storage configuration, it's 6 into 1.92 terabyte. Okay, so you can say effective usable capacity is minimum 7 terabyte and maximum 15 terabyte. Okay, so if we consider that 90% saving, or we call this one uh, the efficiency ratio is 10 to 1. Okay, then again it's mean this 7 terabyte means it's 70 terabytes capacity for the user to store data on a single node. Okay, and I'm saying 10 to 1. We have seen the customer as an average they are achieving data efficiency 50 to 1, and even some customers they are achieving 100 to 1. So if I assume 100 to 1, it means 7 into 100, so 700 terabyte in a single node, which is big capacity as a saving. So RAID configuration, it's multi-tier RAID 1 plus 0 plus RAID 5. So it's minimum 2 node per chassis, maximum 4 node per chassis. So 2 nodes. If we'll go with the server 190, then it will be 2 nodes, or 170, it will be 4 nodes per chassis. You can see this is from the back. This is the front side. It's showing the hard disk, okay, and this is the back side for each node. It's showing for each node on the back side, okay. So this is in 2U space, okay. In 2U space, we can have the 4 nodes, okay, and in 4U space we can